Okay, this video is going to take you through the final stages of finishing the top of your lid. You've put your polyester resin in and you have given that time now to go solid. You can see this one here is absolutely solid. This is also an example of one where it's got slightly messy around the edges. Now I'm going to show you in a minute how we start to clean this up so that we can get this to a nice high sheen finish. I'm going to be using the sanding machine again, and it's really important that you don't take too much off. I think I previously mentioned in a video the sanding machine is fantastic, but it does take material away very rapidly. So ensuring that you have all your safety goggles on and your apron, you can start up the machine and push the resin edge against the disc. I should make clear that it will start to look worse, not better, but you shouldn't worry about that. You should still be looking to get this whole area looking exactly like that. So that middle area still needs to be sanded. Almost there. Right. Now that area is perfectly flat, so I can switch off the machine. Now that's just one part of the finishing process. The sandpaper on the sanding disc is incredibly coarse, so we now need to get these very deep arc-shaped scratches out of this surface before we can think about polishing it. We're going to do this by working down in 2 grades of wet and dry abrasive paper. I have 2 pieces here. If you look on the back of them, they have numbers. First of all, we have the P400, and then we have the one with 220 written on. Now what that means is that there is a differing amount of grit on the paper within a square inch. So within this one, this is the P400, we have 400 bits of grit in 1 square inch. And this one here is the 220, means there are 220 bits of grit in a square inch on this. This is the coarser paper, this is the rougher paper, this is the one you will start with. So you will try to flat back the area and get rid of these arc-shaped scratches with your 220 first, and then you will go over to, after you've done that, the 400 and do the same process. I should make it clear at this point that this process will take a long time. You will be expected to be sanding this for possibly up to half an hour before you get rid of all those scratches. Now I've got another lid here that's already had some wet and drying done on it, and this needs its final sanding with the P400 before we go over to the polishing machine. There shouldn't be any evidence of any of those white scratches in this by the time you've gone over it. It should appear absolutely flat, and it will also feel, to the touch, incredibly soft. Right, well we can go over to the polishing machine now and we'll look at how we're going to polish that. So the polishing machine has 2 rotating mops. These things here are called mops, and they rotate downwards at quite a high speed. This machine is very useful and speeds up the finishing process enormously, but you do need to be aware of anything loose around this machine. So a tie or some long hair, anything like that needs to be kept well out of the way, and goggles do need to be worn. Because it has a rotating part, it's possible that it will throw things out, so you do need to be protected. Okay, I'm going to be polishing, and I'll show you the example of this box. This box isn't quite ready for polishing yet, but I'll show you how it's going to be held. When you polish it, you polish the edge that is furthest away from you first, and you rotate the box so that you're always polishing the furthest away edge. You must never allow the edge nearest to you to come in contact with the wheel, otherwise it will pick it up and it will throw it. And in worst case, either you'll get your finger trapped in the machine in between the box and the guard, or the box will be smashed on the floor. So this furthest edge is the area that you polish, and you rotate your box round so that you manage to get to the furthest edge and cover the whole area. Okay? The same is true of when we come to polishing up the sides of your box. You need to make sure that the side is furthest away from you and that you turn the box in order that you're always polishing that edge furthest away. Right, let's have a look at on my little example here now, and I'll start the machine up, and you'll see I'm concentrating on that edge furthest away, and I'm rotating it. And I'm rotating it again. I'm rotating it again. Now, that area is starting to look slightly shinier than it did. The polishing will actually take longer than that, and you may need to add some polish onto the polishing mop as well, but the teacher will show you how to do that. That, as well as polishing your sides, should be the last stage in your box manufacture.